I trusted him with everything, my business, my heart, my secrets. Until I walked in and heard him say to his assistant, "Once her inheritance clears, I'm gone." I didn't say a word. I just smiled and signed the transfer papers. A week later, he woke up to an empty mansion, frozen accounts, and a note that read, "Start over like you planned, except now. I'm not someone who usually puts my life out there like this, but after everything, I think I need to. Maybe someone will learn from it. Maybe I just need to get it off my chest." I'm 45 now. This all started when I was 42. I'd just lost my husband, Matt. He died in a car accident on I-40 outside of Nashville. A drunk driver ran a red light and hit him head-on. He died instantly. I didn't get to say goodbye. No last words. Just a knock on the door and a uniformed cop holding his wallet and wedding ring in a plastic bag. Matt and I had built a business from nothing. We ran a high-end woodworking company together. Mostly custom dining tables and cabinets. We had a crew of good guys, loyal workers, and clients who paid on time. It wasn't flashy, but it gave us a good life. After he passed, I kept it going. Mostly because I didn't know what else to do. I wasn't looking for anything when I met Rick. I wasn't ready. I wasn't even functioning right. But he came into my life like a calm voice in the middle of chaos. I met him at a charity event for small businesses. He introduced himself with a firm handshake and said he was a business consultant. He had this clean-cut look, pressed shirt, leather belt, nice boots, but his smile was what got me. It was warm. Like he actually saw me. We started talking. He asked questions about the business, about Matt. He didn't rush me. Didn't try to flirt right away. Just listened. He told me his mother died young and said he understood grief. That made me feel safe with him. It started slow. Coffee meetings turned into dinners. I found myself smiling again, and I hated myself for it at first. Then one day, he kissed me in my driveway, and I didn't stop him. It felt good to be touched, to feel wanted. I thought maybe this was my second chance. Within 6 months, he was staying over most nights. After a year, he moved in. He'd help at the shop when things got busy. Nothing physical, he wasn't handy, but he did the books, or at least claimed he was improving our systems. Said we needed to scale if we wanted to grow. I let him handle some of the logistics because honestly, I was tired. Grief does that. It wears you down so you stop questioning things. Rick was good at what he did, talking. He made everything sound like it was for us. "We're building a future," he'd say. "Let's make smart choices now so we can relax later." He even got me to sign some documents I didn't fully read. Said it was for tax purposes. Said we were just consolidating things. "You trust me, right?" he'd ask with that same damn smile. I did. I trusted him with my business. With my house. With my damn heart. Then came the inheritance. My Aunt Liz in Franklin died unexpectedly. She had no kids and treated me like her daughter. She left everything to me, 10 acres of land, 3 rental homes, a storage unit full of antiques, and several investment accounts I didn't even know existed. I cried when I found out. Not because of the money. Because she was gone. And Rick? He hugged me tight, told me I deserved all of it. He said, "She knew you were the only one who'd appreciate what she built." That was the moment he switched gears. I didn't see it then, but everything changed. He started pushing harder for me to step back from the shop. Said I'd earned a break. Said he'd handle more things. He pushed me to move accounts under his name. Suggested we make him co-owner on all properties. He even offered to deal with the lawyers so I wouldn't have to be overwhelmed. And I let him. God help me, I let him. Then, a Tuesday afternoon not long after that, I came back early from lunch. I had a dentist appointment that got cancelled. I walked into my office and heard voices, his and someone else's. The door was cracked. I stopped when I heard my name. She signed everything. Once the last part of her inheritance clears, I'm gone. Then Kara, his assistant, laughed. Damn. How long you been planning this? Since last year. I gave it time, let her settle. But now? It's all hers on paper, but mine in practice. And when the money hits? Poof. Out of here. She served her purpose. I didn't move. I didn't cry. I stood there until I could breathe again. Then I pushed the door open with a smile like I hadn't heard a thing. Hey babe, you still good for the notary Friday? He blinked. Yeah, of course. I nodded. Great. I'll have the papers ready. Then I walked out like nothing happened. I didn't sleep that night. I didn't sleep the next either. But I did call a lawyer. My cousin Derek. He's quiet, sharp, and works with real estate disputes in Nashville. I told him everything. He told me what to do. I let the Friday meeting happen. Signed the last batch of documents, smiling the whole time. Made him think he had it all locked up. Then I disappeared. 1 week later, he woke up in our mansion in Brentwood to an empty house. I took every piece of furniture. Every photo. All the art. All the rugs. His electronics. My dog. My jewelry. Hell, I even drained the hot tub. The only thing left was a note. Sitting on the marble counter in the kitchen. It said, start over like you planned, except now you really have to. The accounts are frozen. The business? Closed. The name on the deeds? Changed. The lawyer you thought was yours? He's my cousin. Your assistant? She's under federal investigation. And you? You're broke. Good luck finding a job with those consulting skills. Oh, and by the way, her inheritance cleared 2 weeks ago. Thanks for holding everything in your name. After I left that note, I didn't hear anything for a couple of days. I expected rage. Calls. Threats. Nothing came. Just silence. Then on the third day, I got an email. Subject, we need to talk. The body was blank. Just a single attachment, a PDF labeled legal demand. He had hired a lawyer. Or tried to. The document was laughable. It claimed emotional damages. Claimed I'd stolen from him. Claimed I'd manipulated him into signing documents under false pretenses. The thing is, Rick wasn't smart. He thought he was. He had the look, the confidence, the charm. But when it came to real business? To paperwork? To law? He was sloppy. Everything we signed had witnesses. Everything we filed went through legitimate channels. Every account I consolidated was legally mine to begin with. Derek made sure of that. Rick had nothing to stand on. No proof. No claim. Just hot air. But the email wasn't the worst part. 2 days later, I got a visit from someone I didn't expect, Kara. His assistant. She showed up at the rental office of one of my properties in Franklin. I was meeting with a tenant. She walked in like she had a right to be there, wearing sunglasses and shaking. I didn't know, she said before I could say a word. I didn't know how deep it went. I asked her to leave. She refused. She sat down and pulled out her phone. He promised me a partnership. Said I'd be running the business with him. Said you were old and done and that I'd be the one growing the brand. I didn't say anything. Then she showed me texts. Screenshots. Months' worth of messages from Rick. Some were about me. Most were about money. I've got enough dirt on him to burn him down, she said. But he's threatening me now. Saying if I talk, he'll tell people I helped him steal. I told her she needed a lawyer. She said she couldn't afford one. I told her I'd think about it, but only if she handed everything over, every file, every screenshot, every message. She agreed. I gave her Derek's number. That's when the real digging started. Turns out Rick had done this before. Not in Tennessee, but in South Carolina a few years before I met him. Different name. Different woman. Same story. He dated a widow, talked her into co-signing a loan, then vanished after draining a joint account. She never pressed charges. Word was, she had a breakdown and disappeared into a rehab center. Kara helped me find her. She was living in Charleston under her maiden name. We talked on the phone. She cried. She thanked me. She said no one believed her. Rick had no idea we were talking. Or that I was building a case. He thought I was just a bitter ex. But I wasn't bitter. I was focused. What he didn't know was that the mansion in Brentwood? It wasn't in his name anymore. I sold it, quick and clean, to a private buyer. I didn't need the house. I needed the money. For something bigger. Because I wasn't done yet. 3 weeks later, the phone rang while I was at my aunt's old farmhouse, which I was restoring myself. Derek was on the other end. His voice was low. You're going to want to sit down for this. Rick had tried to move to Atlanta. Probably thought he could start fresh there. New crowd, bigger city, more people to con. But on the way, he got pulled over in Chattanooga. Expired license. Then they ran his name, or rather, names. Turns out the South Carolina woman I'd spoken to? Her brother was a detective in Charleston. When she told him about my call and Rick's real identity, he reopened her case. There was enough evidence now, especially with Kara's screenshots and documents, to issue a warrant for fraud and financial coercion. They held him in Hamilton County. I didn't go see him. I didn't need to. But that's not the twist. The real surprise came when Derek got a call from a woman named Sharon. She was Rick's wife. Legally married. Not ex-wife. Current. Never divorced. She lived in Asheville, North Carolina, and had 2 kids. I didn't believe it until I saw the marriage certificate. Apparently, Rick had told her he was working remotely for the past couple years, helping businesses recover post-COVID. She thought the business trips to Tennessee were just contracts. He'd send money. Call the kids. Visit once a month. He had a double life. And I wasn't even the only one. After Sharon and I spoke, and after her initial disbelief wore off, she broke. Just completely fell apart on the phone. She asked me how I could have known. I told her I didn't. None of us did. Then she said, he's been draining my mother's retirement account. I just found out. Over $80,000. That's when I knew this wasn't just revenge anymore. It was justice. For me. For Sharon. For that woman in Charleston. And for anyone else he'd buried under his lies. With our testimonies and the mountain of evidence, the DA started talking to Derek. There was a push for federal charges. Not just fraud, but wire fraud, identity deception, and conspiracy. Turns out Rick wasn't just a con. He was a damn career criminal. I thought I'd be satisfied just leaving him broke. I thought watching him score would be enough. But now? I wanted him to pay in a courtroom. And I wasn't the only one. The trial didn't happen right away. These things take time, especially when multiple states get involved. But during the wait, more came out. Rick had taken money from at least 4 women across 3 states. Each one thought she was the only one. Each one trusted him. Each one got burned. The DA called me personally. Said my evidence, especially the signed documents, the notary records, the sale of the Brentwood house, was what tied everything together. It showed pattern. Intent. Control. I testified in court. So did Sharon. So did Kara. So did the woman from Charleston, who finally stood in front of him and said, "You ruined my life. But you don't get to keep doing it." Rick didn't look at any of us. He kept his head down, clean-shaven, suit too big. He looked small. Not like the man who once smiled at me over candlelight or whispered promises in bed. He got 22 years in federal prison. That should have felt like the end. But it wasn't. Because even after all that, I had to face what I let happen. I gave away control. I signed documents without reading them. I let love blind me, again and again, because I was tired of being alone. I handed over the keys to everything I built, and I smiled while I did it. Yes, I got him back. Yes, I ruined him before he could ruin me. But I also lost 3 years of my life. I lost trust in myself. And that part? That part still hurts. I'm rebuilding now. Not just the business, though I started fresh under a new name with 2 of my old workers, but myself. My walls are higher. My circle is smaller. I sleep alone and I'm okay with it. Sometimes people ask if I'd ever take a chance on love again. I tell them the truth. I already did. And next time? I won't need to. Because the love I'm learning to give myself now? It's the kind that doesn't need charm, or smooth words, or transfer papers. And if Rick ever gets out? He'll be walking into a world where every door he used to open is now locked. Every woman he tricked has found her voice. And everything he thought he could steal? Is long, long gone.